Hi, I'm Dawn, and this is where Shabby meets Bling. If you've ever watched my channel, you know I thrift. You know I not only like to thrift, but I love me some thrifted. And I get real excited and get a little tingling down to the toes when I find an item like I found today. And I am going to transform this item into something beautiful. Hopefully, that's the plan. That's the plan. Let's see if I can do this little piece justice.
This is Flippin' Furniture Friday. I'd like to thank my co-host Zaina from OK at Home DIY. You're going to find the links to her channel and this playlist in my description box below. So I was on a really regular visit to Goodwill, and look what I found. Do you see that? $4.99. As is, of course, as is, it's an old piece. At this point, though, I didn't know how old. Turns out this piece is over 100 years old. Absolutely gorgeous. It's cedar. It's a cedar chest. Oh my goodness. And yeah, she's beat up. You'd be beat up too if you were 100 years old. I mean, oh my gosh, look at the detail on this thing. Absolutely gorgeous. And for $4.99, you better believe I took this thing home. This beauty was made by the ER Company. It is Ed Rue's company, and they were made in Forest Park, Illinois, right here in Illinois, and this is part of the Forest Park line. This particular chest was made in 1924. So I get my little chest home, and I get a real good look at her. The legs are really wobbly, and part of the bottoms have come apart. You can see her wiggle. She got some jiggle to her wiggle, which is not good at all. And of course, she's beat up. Once again, she's old. Since those legs are in such bad shape, I decided to use these instead, which were a roadside find. These are old. They are super old. It doesn't look like it, but they are. I am going to get these mammoth screws out of here. These are a type of hanger bolt, and they're made for furniture. And we're going to remove these because they're much too long and would actually go through the bottom of this chest if I were to reuse them. Plus, I'm missing two. So, there's that. So we need to find a replacement for these guys, but first I need to get them out. Now that those hanger bolts are out, it's time to sand, and there's going to be a lot of sanding in this project. So I busted out my palm sander and I got my gloves on to protect my little tootsies. And if you look right here, I don't know if you can see it, but if you push this button, there's lights that light up, and it tells you if your battery still has a charge to it. It's good to know before you even get started if you have much of a charge. So the plan was to just scruff up the finish on these legs, but once I got going, and I don't have a real gritty sandpaper, this is rather fine, and it took it right down to the wood. So why not? Why not take it down to the original wood, and it will make it a little bit easier for my paint to adhere. The sanding saga continues with the top of the chest. The top, I start on one side, and once I get it real good, I will move to the other side and get it done. Now, any areas that I can't get with the palm sander, I will have to do by hand, but that will happen later because I'm making the majority of the mess outside. So I finish the right side, then I move to the left side, and then I do the sides. sides, and then I get as much done on the front of the little chest as possible. Now I'm going to remove the lid from the chest. If you see right here, you see what that is? That is felt. That is felt so that when the lid closes, it really is sealed and moths can't get in here. It amazes me how they used to make things so efficiently and yet beautiful at the same time. I think we've lost a lot of that. Seems items made now are either efficient or they're attractive, and form and function can go hand in hand if you know how to do it, and back then they did. I am removing all of the hardware, all the little screws, but I will be reusing it. It is over 100 years old and it is still perfect. I'm being very careful to make sure I keep all my little screws handy dandy. I'm putting them right back in the lid where I got them, so that way I can't lose them. Even though these are a straight edge screw, they are still absolutely perfect and they fit in those holes, and I don't want to take a chance of stripping these holes out by adding a brand new Phillips head screw. And now we're inside, and I am going to sand those areas that would have been destroyed by my palm sander. I want to maintain that fabulous routed edge, that gentle curve. So pretty. So I'm being very careful. I will get this finished, and you know what we're doing next? We're gonna paint. We're gonna paint, because finally, all that sanding is donezo's. Is done. It's finished. Thank goodness. It's over. So now the painting can begin. I am using a flat black interior house paint. This is a Color Place from Walmart, and you see me use it all the time because it's very thrifty and very efficient, and covers a lot of square inches and sometimes square feet. That's the point. It really, really goes a long, long way. And this is the color of a black that they already have mixed. So you could just walk into Walmart, grab a pre-mixed black house paint, interior, and off you go. You take your little self home, and there you are painting. And here we are painting. Everything is going to get painted this color. The top, the sides, the front, the back, the legs, everything, with one exception. Everything but the inside. We want to maintain that beautiful, lovely smelling, and you can still smell it after 100 years, cedar. The lid of the chest has been painted, so I'm back outside, and I have flipped this chest over, and I need to figure out how I'm gonna get this base off with the legs. I thought I could just tap the legs free since they are secured in between that base part and the leg. They're only doweled, so I thought I could do it. But that didn't work, so I went a different direction, and I unscrewed the top of that bar that connected both sets of legs, then continued tapping, and it finally came free. There's those pesky dowels I was struggling with. Here you get a really good look at how deteriorated those legs were. But I'm gonna keep them. You know I am, and you're gonna see them in some project down the road. But right now I need to take the bottom pieces that these were attached to and fix them because they were a little bit damaged, and I don't know if it's from me and all my banging on them, or they were beat up like the legs were anyway. I need to repair them because I'm going to be using these pieces in my reconstruction with the new legs. So I take that little piece out, I wood glue it back in place, and then I clamp it together. I'm clamping straight down on this because of the angle of the wood, and the clamp from the sides would not work. So it's just top to bottom. I squeeze it and I clamp it. I set it aside and let it dry. Then I repair the other piece. So I have already predetermined these are way too long to fit through my chest without damaging it. So here I am at Menards to see if I can find something shorter, but the same diameter. Try as I might, I could not find anything even close that would work. And I scoured those aisles like you would not believe. This was the closest thing I could find. And no, they were not gonna work. So I did ask for help, of course, but sometimes, just sometimes, the people you ask in these stores know less than you do. And that was the case in this circumstance. So off I go to figure out something else. I'm probably going to just go with some mammoth screws. Like this. These will be what I will use to attach my legs to my little lovely chest. Now to prep for plan number 2, or is it plan number 3 at this point, in the way we are going to reassemble my little chest. I am using dowels. kind of like in the original legs, but not in the same placement that the original legs had the dowels. I am putting them in the same place the hanger bolts were before I removed them. And I'm using some wood glue and a hammer to make this happen. I fill the cavity with wood glue, add a little more on the dowel, and then tap it into place, way down into place, because these need to be solid. The weight of that chest is immense, and these legs need to support that weight. I wipe off any excess glue and then continue with the other 3 legs. Now they get some paint. I'm gonna paint my legs. And you can see how well these sanded up. So nice. It's almost like a brand new leg. Beautiful leg. Ooh. Boy, they're painting up nice. So nice. So nice. Once I get the other 3 painted, I will set them all aside and let them dry overnight. My legs are nice and dry, so now I'm taking my coping saw and I am cutting the top of the dowel rod off. I need the top of my leg to be flush, totally flat, because this thing is going to lay up against those 2 little pieces that I mended from the original leg structure. Once the dowel is off, I sand it to really make sure it is flat. Here's my beautiful legs, but I felt they were a little long, so chop saw and voila. Now we have shorter legs. You know I'm gonna keep these little munchkins, and they will be appearing in a video coming to you soon. I don't know how soon, but you know I'll use them again. Aren't they pretty? So lovely. But now we are going to add a top coat on these beautiful legs. I will be using this walnut wood tint by Plaid. It's part of their home decor line. I'm just new to this lovely stuff and I like it. I like it a lot. I like the finish it gives me. Now, I am going against the grain. I'm outside the box. I'm a little whatever, but I'm not using it the way they say to use it. You're supposed to shake it up. You're supposed to paint it on. You're supposed to let it sit for just a little bit, and then you're supposed to wipe it off. But that's not what I'm doing. No, it's not what I'm doing. I'm just painting it on, and I'm letting it dry. We'll see what happens. We'll see if I'm happy, or if I think, whoops-a-daisy, shouldn't have done that. I'm not even going to wait for the first one to dry. I'm just going to plow on through. I'm doing all 4 legs with this tint on here, and we'll see what happens. Once again, I hope I'm happy. A lot of work if I'm not happy. Yeah. Ugh. So much work. So much work. Back outside to deal with the main part of the chest. I have a huge gap from the bottom to the sides, and we're gonna fill it. You can see that? Look at that big old gap. Well, that won't do, will it? So I'm gonna fill it with some wood glue, and we're gonna clamp this bad boy. I run a very, very healthy bead of glue all down that crack. It is way big. It is way big. Be careful if you ever do something like this, because it's going to go through that crack and it's gonna start running on the inside of whatever you're gluing. So I am going to make sure that I keep an eye on that and keep it nice and clean inside, because I don't want this glue to set up. So I get the bead all the way down, and then I'm going to grab my ginormous clamps. I love these things, and we're going to clamp this. I am using 2 clamps to make this happen, and I am going to let this sit overnight. And you can see I have glue that is showing on the exterior. I will make sure I wipe that all down as well, because I don't want that to set up either. I just need the glue in between the base and that top panel. There you get a good look at my giant, those big old clamps. I love these things. I am tightening them slowly so I don't crack my veneer any more than it already is. If you look right here on the corner and you look up here at the top, you're gonna see where some of the veneer has cracked and come away. I am going to fill it with some really good wood filler. I have filled those areas in with wood filler and I'm waiting for them to dry, and I've done a tiny bit more sanding. But in the meantime, I'm going to start painting the areas that I can. I busted out that black onyx, took it outside, and thank goodness it's so pretty out. I've had beautiful days to work on this piece of furniture, and I wish they were all like this, but I do live in the northern part of Illinois, and you can't always count on perfect weather, but today is just one of those days. It's just a tiny breeze, not enough to blow dirt and dust into my paint, and I'm going to get this done. I am giving it 2 coats. You can see I've already got a good healthy coat on the side and a little bit on the top. I'm avoiding where my clamp is because I keep moving it around because I don't want to take it off just yet. The longer this has to dry, the better. Once I'm thoroughly done painting, I will hit this with that walnut wood tint as well. It came out pretty good, you guys. I gotta say, I'm pretty darn happy with the way those legs came out. Woo! Nice legs, yes they are, and you'll see them shortly. Once all my tint is dry, I will assemble, and we'll see what she looks like. I'm really excited. Really excited.
My project is done. Totally complete. I think I want to keep it. I wasn't sure if that was the plan to start out with, but I really like the way this little piece came out. Very excited to show all of you.
Here's our Ed Ruse cedar hope chest, 100-year-old hope chest before, and here it is now. She went from a short little rundown piece of furniture that they were trying to sell for $4.99 to this tall drink of water. Absolutely am in love with it. I think the legs look spectacular. They don't look out of place. They look like they might have been there all along. My lid turned out so nice, and I love that walnut glaze. It's absolutely fabulous. They just don't make details like this anymore. How beautiful is this keyhole? I didn't sand out any of those nicks, those little signs of age, the badges of time. She wears them well. I am in love with this piece and I am keeping it. I already have it filled. Not all the way filled because this chest is huge, but I'm going to use it for paint storage. There is so much room in here, I'm even going to be able to store my chalk paint, as well as my Mod Podge, the Podge. I am tickled pink. I am so happy that I was at the Goodwill at the right time and in the right place to find this little gem for $4.99. Unbelievable. Look how pretty she looks with Sheila, the shieldback butterfly, and my beautiful candlestick risers. Absolutely gorgeous. What a fabulous piece of furniture. Now that she's nice and sturdy, I bet you she's got another 100 years of life ahead of her. This has been Flippin' Furniture Friday. Thanks again to my co-host Zaina from OK at Home DIY. You're going to find the links to her channel and this playlist in my description box below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like, share it with your family, your friends, anyone that likes DIYs, thrifting, repurposing, shabby chic and French country decor, and flipping furniture. You can follow me on Instagram. And don't forget to check out my shop on Etsy. Leave me a comment. I would absolutely love to hear from you. Ring the bell for notifications of all my upcoming videos. Subscribe. It's a fabulous way to support my channel. But for now, this is Dawn with Shabby Meets Bling. Thank you so much for visiting, and I'll see you next time.